just thank you for bringing us all here tonight, that we can all rest in your presence, Lord, and that and the Holy Spirit will fill us with your peace, Lord, as we hear filled, speak your story. That's open our ears and our hearts so that we may receive the story, that your message that you're trying to give us right now, Lord, and we're just so thankful that we could be together this evening. In your name, amen.
Amen, amen. Guys, Recovery Church San Jose. Yeah. Well, I am honored to be here. My new friend, is it Chewy? Is it Chewy? Okay. Was asking me, like, basically, like, tell the story. He was over there, like, how did you get into this? And my response was kicking and screaming, okay? And so if you hear tonight, like, oh, Phil is some great thing, then I lied to you, okay? That's not the truth. I fought God. I honestly called God crazy about this crazy idea of churches for addicts and alcoholics, by addicts and alcoholics. God, are you nuts? Is what I really thought about this thing. And I fought it for years. And so we're going to talk tonight a little bit about Isaiah and yes, Lord, send me, but that could be taken the wrong way. Some ways during my journey, I was a little more like Jonah and kept getting spit back up, and finally, okay, fine, God, fine, have your way with me. So don't misunderstand tonight as I share a little bit. But guys, I'm honored to be here. You know what? When you guys were little, I want you to think for a second. What did you want to be when you grew up? What did you say? A dog? She wanted to be a dog. I've never heard that before. I've heard a lot of things. Come on. I don't know how to respond to that, but okay. What else did you guys want to be? A what? Happy, okay. Okay. A fireman. I think I heard a stripper or something. But a saloon girl, okay. That's a little bit better, okay. What else? It's still Recovery Church. It's okay. What else did you guys want to be when you grew up? A nurse. Air Force pilot. Lawyer. Okay? President. He had an ego. I've asked thousands of that, and no one ever said, when I grew up, I wanted to be a junkie. Right? We didn't plan and dream of ending up in these seats, did we? When I grow up, I want to lose everything. That's not the plan. We had dreams, we had aspirations, and somehow this thing that was promising started stealing everything, right? Guys, I got introduced as the founder of Recovery Church, and that can sound impressive if you know some of the things that God is doing, because God's done some amazing things. But it wasn't like I was sitting in some kind of boardroom and I had this great idea and wrote it all out. I didn't have the vision in that moment of, okay, God, yeah, we're going to see a Recovery Church spreading across this nation. We're going to see, we're going to see hundreds of Recovery Churches, thousands of people gathering across this country and across the world. That wasn't the story. That is absolutely not what happened. In fact, I argued with God. I begged God to remove this from me. I said, God, can you just take that stupid crackerjack pastor? I want to be a real pastor. You guys want to talk? Some of you don't know what we used to do. There was a toy in the crackerjack. Some of us, you guys remember that? You could pull out and maybe there was some fun things. It was like, I felt like I pulled out like the pastor card from the crackerjack box. God, are you nuts? This is going to be a mess. Do you know these people? You really want churches by and for addicts and alcoholics. You see, For years, I would not accept that I was an alcoholic. Guys, I preached my very first sermon drunk. That a boy, yeah. I think that qualifies. I don't need to go into all the details of all that stuff. But what really happened is a handful of people got together in South Florida during a crazy time where we saw our friends dying, and many of them dying without knowing Jesus. Many of them dying without a path of recovery. Just every week, someone was ODing and dying. By show of hand, who here has lost someone that they love or they've known from addiction? Okay, almost everyone in the room. And we just said, we have to do something. So we came together and we tried to do something. Literally, there was me, this crazy doctor, this Pentecostal doctor who was casting out demons in his office, this Monsignor Catholic priest, and just a good old group of drunks and alcoholics and everything you can think of. It was a motley crew. It was a mess. And we just started saying, okay, God. I started saying, I guess I don't have another choice. It was like he spit me up. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Has anyone ever been there? Okay, fine? Okay. So guys, if you're coming tonight expecting, I know the series you're in right now has been like bring your A game, right? If you're expecting, man, we're going to listen to the founder of Recovery Church, and he's going to be like this unbelievable communicator, if you can't already tell, you're going to be disappointed. Okay? Because before I'm a founder of anything, before I'm a pastor, before I'm an author, before any of that other stuff, I'm Phil, and I'm an alcoholic. And I'm alive today because Jesus radically saved me. And I love this crazy, beautiful mess that we now call Recovery Church. Guys, this is your church. This is your family. You're the ones showing it up week in, week out. And if you're not, you should be the ones who are helping clean up and set up and tear down. You're the ones getting the phone numbers and picking up the calls at 11:30 or 1:30 or 2:30 or 3:30 in the morning, whenever it is. This is your church. You're picking up people and giving them a ride. You're sitting with someone when their life just blew up. You're welcoming the newcomer. Guys, this is one of the few places where we can walk into the room and not have it all together.
Somebody get excited.
One of the few places where you can be the founder of a movement that's spreading across this world. And we have locations starting in Nepal. We have a location in South Africa. I have a whole team in South Korea. We were on a Zoom with Tajikistan. I don't even know how to say that name. Not Kazakhstan. We had groups go on mission trips there. But like it's above Afghanistan, next to China. And the guy is like saying, hey, no, we can't have anyone else join the Zoom or they'll cut it off because we're not allowed to have more than 2 people on at the same IP address or the government will shut us down. And no, if they find out if you're an addict here or an alcoholic here, you'll be arrested. So we have to plant AA meetings underground, just like the church has to be underground. And it's like, wow, this is crazy. I can't do that. I can't have those meetings. I can't, this is something beyond me. And so maybe the bring your A game maybe means something a little bit different for me tonight. So normally when someone says, hey, bring your A game, it's bring your best, right? And yes, we should always bring our best before God. You're not going to give the king leftovers, right? You're not going to give him you're going to bring him your best. And so, of course, we bring our best, but maybe our best isn't necessarily just bringing your talent. Maybe it's not bringing your intelligence or all your experience or your resources, showing everyone what you got, all that flexing. Jesus has an amazing way of just turning everything upside down. Everything that we thought. He just has an amazing way of just creating a paradox in everything. When the world says climb higher, Jesus says become a servant. When the world says hold on to your life, Jesus says lose your life and you will find it. The world celebrates strength, but Jesus says my power is made perfect in weakness. So what if Jesus turns our A game upside down too? What if the greatest thing you can bring to God isn't your ability? He's God. What if it's simply your availability?
That's right.
So in Isaiah chapter 6, it begins this way. In the year King Uzziah, I have no idea how to say his name, but the year this king died, so the king of the time dies, Isaiah saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne. I love that. A king dies. Guys, think about that. We can just, that's some ancient king. What if Trump died right now? No matter how you feel about Trump, okay? No, don't. But what if he died right now? There would be a little anxiety, wouldn't there be? Like, who's going to step in? Who's going to be the next one? We don't know what's happening. No matter who the president is, no matter who the ruler is, man. And so Isaiah sees the king is dead. And he's sitting there, and there's anxiety about what's going to happen. What's going to happen next? There's uncertainty. The world's been disrupted. Things aren't the way that it's uncomfortable in that moment. But what do you see when life gives you that kind of uncertainty? God is in control, guys. He's in charge. The king may be dead, but the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, was still on that throne. Isaiah looked, and God was on the throne. We have to remember, no matter what the swirls are, no matter what the waves are, no matter what the chaos is, no matter what's happening in our lives, God is in control. He's on the throne. Sometimes something has to die before we can clearly see God. I think if we're in this room, our plans have to die. The illusion of control has to die. Anyone try to control their drinking? Control their using? Anyone try to control their reputation? My way, my belief, I can manage this. I can fix this. How's that working for you? Yep. Guys, our little kingdoms have to collapse. Because God can be a jealous God. And I want you guys to think about that. We'll put all sorts of other things on that throne. We'll see that throne and we'll put all sorts, some of them are good things. But guess what? It belongs to him. And he walks in the room, you're in my seat. Guess what he's going to do? Dunk. What did you put on that seat? What gets dunked to the side? Did you put money? Whoop. Your children? Your reputation? That seat doesn't belong to anyone but the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. God's kingdom's doing just fine. So Isaiah sees the holiness of God. And the angels begin crying. They begin crying out, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory." And Isaiah could have responded in some different ways, Ooh, the king is dead. The king is dead. The earthly king is dead. God, you know what? You found the right guy. Put me in. There's an opportunity here. But do you know how he responds? Isaiah responds before God. He says, "Woe to me, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips." As he stands there and sees God, woe to me. In other words, I can't. I'm unworthy. Who am I compared to you, God? Has anyone ever been there? Where you finally get to that spot of just, God, if you're there, can you help me? I can't do this anymore. Excuse me. Isn't that the beginning of this recovery journey? See, God gives us incredible things. I've never met, and I know you've heard the saying, but I really have not ever met a grateful drunk. Someone in active addiction who's truly grateful. When we have our gratitude in check, when we understand, it puts us in a position, God, thank you. Guess what? We put God bigger. God's bigger. He's above us. Every time, God, wow. Look at this life you've given me. So God gives us all sorts of things, Gives us family, relationships, career, money, education, these gifts. I have a beautiful family. I have 5 kids. Just when's the 10th? Like a couple days ago was my 24th wedding anniversary. That's a huge gift. But I have to be careful. We all have to be careful because sometimes we can start chasing the gifts rather than the gift giver. We can start chasing the blessings rather than the blesser. And God will use addiction. Doesn't like addiction. It's evil. It's horrible. Don't hear me. But he'll use addiction. When you place something in the seat of the gift giver, when you put a gift there, he's going to knock that gift. Yeah, addiction has an insane way of stripping all those things away. You guys have probably lost more in this room than most people have ever made in their life. There's lost marriages, there's lost jobs, there's tons of lost money. Addiction has a way of making money disappear, relationships disappear, trust disappear, reputations disappear. It's a thief. It's a thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But God has this amazing ability to restore everything in a new, unbelievable way. In ways we would never have expected. This upside down gift. Everything I was hiding behind is gone. Everything I thought I could control has failed. And finally I stand before God with nothing left to try to impress him with. I can't go in front of him and say, look at me, I'm this great guy. No, God, I can't. Have your way with me. Have your way with me. Sounds a lot like step 1. Sounds a lot like the foundation of the Christian faith. Isaiah says to God, I am unclean. And God doesn't say to him, okay, Isaiah, you know what? Go clean yourself up. Go clean yourself up, get it all together, and then come back to me. That's not the story. No, God cleanses him and tells him, your guilt is taken away and your sins are atoned for. Your sins are forgiven. Isaiah couldn't fix himself. He couldn't fix them. He couldn't do it, but God could. God did for Isaiah what Isaiah couldn't do for himself. That's grace, that's the gospel, that's recovery. Guys, you've heard this. I can't, he can. I think I'll let him. And the big book puts that incredibly bluntly on page 62. We had to quit playing God. It didn't work. We had to quit playing God. It didn't work. Every suggestion. I'm sorry. Who here has tried to tell God what you're going to do? Okay. Did it work? But we're like that dog going back to the vomit, aren't we? We keep doing it over and over and over again. Over and over. We play God, try to control our drinking, control our using. I've tried to control God. God hears me. Guys, hear this. God cannot be manipulated. That's right. Keep it that simple. God cannot be manipulated. So anything that seems like, a little manipulation, like even in the church, sometimes you'll see that. Like, did you say the prayer just perfectly like this? It's not Christian witchcraft out there, okay, guys? That's not what this is about. This is about a relationship with the Creator. He's bigger than all of that. You can't manipulate him. And that's a good thing because he's bigger than you. So it doesn't matter that you say it perfectly or you don't. You're like a child coming to your father or a child coming to your mother. You're not going to manipulate him. You're not going to outsmart him. You might have conned a lot of people. You might be the best liar in the world. There's a lot of them in here, right? We're good at it. But you're not going to con God. He is God and you are not. Eventually, recovery gives us this incredible revelation. There is a God, and I am not him. Write it on your mirror. There is a God, and I am not him. That's good news. We need something bigger than us. Because if I'm God, we're all screwed. It's a mess. The big book talks about God becoming the director and us becoming his agents. For years, I wanted to be the director. And I wanted to try to direct God. I would try to say, God, here's what I'm going to do. Can you help me? God, I want to marry this person. Can you help me? Instead of, hey, God, who would you have me marry? No, God, I want this job. No, God, what job do you want for me? God, no, help me. Oh, God. Okay. We don't direct him. God becomes the director. So I've been in recovery a while now. And I've known some incredibly smart people in recovery, and I've known some pretty stupid people in recovery. And I know that's not politically correct, but there are some stupid people, okay? I've known brilliant people, talented people, successful people, people with money, people with degrees. But guess what? They were too smart for recovery. You tell them, go to a meeting. Well, I don't know if that's really what I think I need. Get a sponsor. Well, I've actually been researching and thinking about that. I've worked the steps. Nah, my situation's a little different. I don't think I need that. But man, I've known some stupid people. Some stupid people, and I go to them. Hey, go to a meeting. Okay. Okay. Get a sponsor. Okay. Call them. Okay. Hey, why don't you make this list? Write these things down. Okay. Hey, I want you to pray here, and I want you to pray here. This is okay. Don't drink today. Okay. 6 months later, the stupid guy's chairing the meeting. What do you think the smart guy's doing? It's rinse, repeat, over and over on the spin cycle. Because he still has to do more investigation. He still has to do more research. He's still out there trying to figure out. Stop trying to figure it out. We can't do this, but he can. They're on the wash, rinse, repeat, spin. What's the difference? It wasn't intelligence. It wasn't the resources they had. It wasn't talent. It wasn't ability. It was willingness. It was surrender. Sometimes one of the greatest spiritual words you will ever simply learn is, okay, yep, yes, see for our brothers from the South. Just, God, okay. I'm not going to do it for myself anymore. Here I am. Isaiah 6:8. Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And Isaiah said, here I am, send me. And here's what's crazy. Isaiah says this before he knows what God's going to ask him to do. He doesn't say to God, okay, oh, God, if you want me to do this, okay, send me. No, God, here I am, send me. And then God gives him the instructions. That's recovery. Okay, I'm done. Someone help me. Some people have gone before me. Maybe you have some suggestions. Maybe you can help me walk through this. I'll stop the research. Here I am. Send me. Isaiah simply says, I'm available. Now tell me what to do. So, the third step. Guys, if you've been around AA or any 12-step fellowship for a while, Isaiah's response should sound familiar. Anyone know the third step prayer? Some of you are raising your hand. Anyone brave enough to say a little bit of it? So a lot of you know it. We're good at saying it, but maybe not in unity. But that's awesome. I've done that in groups, and like one person maybe knows the prayer, which is really scary. But God, I offer myself to Thee, to build with me and to do with me as Thou wilt. Sounds pretty surrender, doesn't it? Sounds pretty much like, I don't have anything to offer you, God. You just have your way with me. I give up. Sounds like Jonah's been spit out by that whale over and over again, finally saying, okay, I guess I'm going to Nineveh. Okay? I'm done. I can't do this. It's not, God, here's my plan, bless it. It's, God, here's my life. It's yours. Have your way with me. Build with me. Do with me as you will. Remove the bondages of self so I can better do your will. That's Isaiah's, here I am, send me. Maybe one of the most powerful prayers you could ever pray. And maybe we could just say it like this: God, my answer is yes before I even know the questions. Guys, I'm not the best at anything. I'm not. I'm really not. And I think that should give you some hope. I mean that. So God has had me, He's used me honestly beyond things that I can believe. I've sat in meetings with politicians, with vice presidents, with all sorts of crazy things over the years. I'm sitting in does anyone know who Ben Carson is? Okay, so Ben Carson ran for president a few years ago, and I'm sitting and having lunch with this guy. I'm like, how did I get here? You know, there's been crazy, weird, God has used me in insane ways. Of course, I was born in 79, so I'll date myself there. So I grew up through the 80s and the 90s, and we were all taught you could do anything if you put your mind to it at that time, right? You could do anything. You could be anything you want to be. And so there was that arrogance that was in me that I really felt that way. So there was some of that. But I really am not the best at anything. I am a horrible athlete. If someone threw something up here, it would be funny. I would not catch it, okay? I would block it or something maybe. I'm dyslexic, okay? I'm dyslexic and struggle to read. I struggle to write. When I was little, I'd get a word processor or a typewriter, okay, and I would type out my algebra problems on a typewriter to turn them in, because if I tried to write it, the teacher would always throw them back at me. And those of you who don't understand, that was like really hard to do on a typewriter, to create those parentheses and all that kind of stuff to make that happen. I was a decent student. I got an okay score on the SAT, but not an Ivy League type score on the SAT. I always felt like I was one step removed from greatness. I was a youth pastor at a time, and I was a good youth pastor. I was not great. I became a therapist. I had a private practice for a while, and I was a good therapist. But I was not the best therapist, not the greatest. I'm certainly not the greatest communicator in the world. I'm not the greatest leader. I'm definitely not the most charismatic guy you're going to ever meet. I'm goofy. I relate differently to people. Anyone in here remember Junior from our team who's come and spoke here before? Somebody get excited, absolutely. Junior has the gift of woo, okay? You meet Junior and you want more of Junior. He is one of the most gifted communicators around. And he's even a better friend. He's a gifted man. I'm no Junior when it comes to being a communicator. I don't have that same gifting that he has. When he comes in the room, he fills you up with joy. He fills the room up with energy. I make people cry. And so I call them stupid. It's not necessarily a gift. But somewhere along the line, I learned to say, okay, God, okay. Yes. God, what do you want me to do? And one yes after another. Years ago, there were just a few alcoholics and addicts getting together one night in South Florida. And I basically said, yeah, let's do this crazy thing. We were meeting in my living room. And we said, okay, yeah, let's do this thing. And then we met in a coffee shop. And then we met in a bar. Guys, think about how crazy that is. We planted Recovery Church in a bar. The floor was sticky from the alcohol from the night before. Like, you could smell it. You could smell the vomit from the club, all that kind of stuff. It was a bar. It was a nasty bar called the Bamboo Room. But people were dying and people needed recovery. People needed Jesus, so we said, okay, God, seems like this is what you want us to do. Man, we fought with each other. Anyone ever try to do something good with a group of people? Okay. You try to do something good with a group of addicts and alcoholics, it's a mess, it's hard, especially early in recovery. You're going to have lots of drama, lots of opinions, lots of Indians, we said, you know what, we're going to put those disputable matters behind us, and we're going to focus on Jesus and recovery. And we started just saying yes. Then another yes, and another yes, and another yes. And somehow God took this little act of obedience and he did something we could never have planned. 7,000 people gathering now. You know, well over 120, soon to be 150 locations all over the world. Thousands of volunteers every week. I mean, we're in over 40 states. We'll be in all 50 states, most likely within 2 years. We started off with really no vision. Okay, let's help some guys right here. Now our vision is a recovery church in every city in this nation and beyond. We went from no faith to now no faith and really no vision to a God-sized faith and a God-sized vision. And I look at all this, sometimes I think, how did this happen? Guys, it's not because I'm impressive. I'm not. That's the point. It's not because, Phil is this great communicator. It's not because Phil is a great fundraiser. I'm not. Or a great leader. Or this great visionary. I didn't have all the resources. I didn't know all the right people at the time. Somewhere along the way, I just looked around and thought, Lord, people are dying. Okay, here I am. Send me. And God did it. Just like he cleaned Isaiah up, God did it. Save me, send me, and that's why this should give you hope. Some of you are more gifted in this room than me. Some of you are smarter than me. Some of you are dumber. Maybe you've got more resources than I have. Maybe God is going to do something through you that makes everything I've ever been a part of look like microscopic. I hope he does. Or maybe you're sitting there thinking, Phil, I'm pretty sure I'm the stupid guy that you've been talking about earlier. Or I'm the smart guy. Guys, God can use stupid. He's got a pretty good track record. Because guess what? God's ability isn't in question. Our availability is. And maybe that's the journey of recovery. When some of us first came through the doors, our prayer was, I want to get my wife back, my family back, like the country music song. Like, God, save all this stuff, right? Give me it all back. Save it, save it, save it, save it, save it. Save my marriage, save my family, save my career. Save me from myself, save my life. And I believe he did, but maybe not in the way we would have wanted at first. But for what he's done to me, and I see what's happened to my life, it's more than I could ever have hoped for or imagined. And it changed from God save me to God use me, from God get me out of this, to God, what do you want to do with me? From save me to send me. And maybe God is not just rescuing you from something. Maybe he is rescuing you for something. Maybe it's to sponsor that new person who comes in. Maybe it's serving. Maybe it's leading. Maybe it's helping the newcomer. Maybe eventually it's planting another recovery church. Or going in and bringing a meeting into a treatment center. Going into the jail. Telling someone about Jesus. Guys, you don't have to have that all figured out. Guys, you simply can say something like, man, there was a time in my life where I hated myself and wanted to die, and I was drinking myself to death, and I met Jesus, and he changed me. You don't have to have any great theology. You can say, I don't know what happened, but man, I went over there, and these people were talking all this crazy stuff, and I said, okay, God, if that's real, help me. And guess what he did? He helped me.
That's right.
I don't know what God's assignment is for you. Maybe you don't really yet either. But maybe you don't have to worry about that question. Maybe tonight's question is, does God have your yes? Does God have your yes? Maybe bringing your A game isn't standing before God saying, look at what I can do. Maybe it's, I can't. He can. I think I'll let him. Finally, here I am. Send me. Because sometimes your greatest ability is simply your availability. So let me leave you with this one question. I want you to think about this for a moment. What could God do with your life if he actually had all of it? What are you still holding on to that you won't give to him? Anything on that throne is going to get knocked off. What could God do with all your life if you just said, Lord, have your way with me? God, I'm yours. My strengths are yours. My weaknesses are yours. My past is yours. I'm yours. My recovery is yours. Whatever I've got, Lord, here I am, Lord. Send me. Guys, there's an army in this room. There are a lot of people out there dying. The excuses need to stop for all of us. Whatever you're researching out there about getting a sponsor or working the steps or helping others, it has to stop. We have to say yes. People are dying without a path of recovery and without knowing Jesus, and you are the solution. Guys, thank you. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of the journey of Recovery Church and a little bit of my heart. Guys, God bless you and stay sober. Thank you.